Hello out there, I am Jonah Emerson Bell of Camp Wizard Camp, and I want to talk to you today about the tarot. I want to talk about the tarot as a tool for magic, and less about the tarot as a tool for divination. I think we can all agree that it works excellently as a tool of divination, but I think one of the things that gets overlooked is that the tarot is actually, can function as a magical system, and within these 78 cards, there are all the tools for manifestation and visualization that one would need. Also, what's really nice about this is that it is lightweight, it is very portable, and is pretty undercover as a way of creating magic for the witch on the go. What I would like to focus on is just one specific aspect of the tarot as a tool for manifesting your magic, and that aspect that I want to look in on is the aces. That's right, the aces. In a system of magic, these cards are incredibly powerful. Why? Why, you ask? Because they correlate with the directions and with the elements. With these 4 cards, we can create a ritual space. We can create a magical space. We can create a space for intention and manifestation just by aligning our energy and our idea with the directions, with the elements. We have wands connected with the south and with the element of fire. But we have, coins connected with the earth, connected with the north. We have swords connected with the east and the element of air. And last but certainly not least, we have cups that is connected with the west and the element of water. And so you can, when you need to, or if you want to, you can lay these out, correlating with the directions, and use them as a way of calling the directions, calling the corners, and creating a ritual space. Here's a very basic example of doing that.
Hail to the guardians of the watchtowers of the east, the powers of air and invention. Hear me!
I've just laid out all of the elementals and the corners using these playing cards, basically. And then through calling them in and activating this space, I'm able to perform magic or charge objects. What's up? And we're able to use this space as a way of creating a portal or a tool of manifestation. And we can also use the rest of the deck as a way of accessing whatever it is that we're trying to call into being. For example, if we're doing a spell for boundaries, perhaps we want to use the Two of Swords or the Queen of Swords. This can be laid out in this way, with the Two of Swords in sort of the focal point or the center position as we're trying to call that into being.
We invoke thee! We invoke thee!
We can also think about the aces and the elementals as creating, a space for us, right? That's creating a magical space, not only to sort of manifest our will through the images of the tarot, but also creating a space that holds us as the individual, as the practitioner. You can put these cards around your reading space, around your home, around your practice space, around your car, wherever, right, as sort of talismans and ways of connecting with the elements and ways of connecting with the directions.
Hail to the guardians of the watchtowers of the north by the powers of Mother and Earth.
Another thing that we can do is, while we have these corners called, right, as long as we have this space open, we can actually take the place and enact the image in this card and see how it feels to be in that position. Back up, back away from me. Nope, further back. Hey, back up. Right, by creating like a ritual space, an altar space, we're able to kind of focus that energy in a new way and activate it in ways that become really exciting and invigorating for the archetypes that we're working with. Another way of thinking about the aces is that they become our ritual tools. You know, they become ways of actually enacting the magic. You know, it becomes a wand, Kazam! Or a sword. And I think it's interesting to think about it in these ways, because we don't need these like big elaborate tools to be able to enact our magic, right? That's all sort of moving through us, in my opinion, right? And it's about connecting with the larger forces at play in the universe and aligning our will with them and directing that, channeling it through, much like the Magician card in the tarot. And so we can use, you know, these cards as a vessel to carry the magic into the world, as a way of carrying our desires and enacting what it is and creating like a real manifestation of what we are trying to bring into being.
You have chosen wisely.
And I think that's really fascinating, that all of this can just be contained in here, right? In these cards, in something that fits easily in a backpack or a purse, and you don't need like a whole bunch of elaborate stuff. And don't get me wrong, I really like the elaborate magical objects, but it also, when you think about it, all just getting like shrunk down into and compressed into like a complete magical system. And so, you know, if we need to cut ties, right? If we need to create space, we can use the sword, you know, and just holding this, visualizing it, pulling it, honoring it, putting it on your altar, carrying it around with you, carrying it in your pocket. Also, you know, can think about holding it in this way as like a way of creating boundaries and mimicking that card, right? Being like, nope, nope, over there, like, you know, you over there, discernment, right? And like using these as sort of like talismanic power objects to be able to, you know, enact what it is that you are looking to work with, and through channeling what it is that we're calling in through the images. Because in my humble opinion, that's a lot of what a magical practice is using the images and archetypes that exist, right, that have correlations and correspondences, and by using those correspondences, we are creating a channel through which the magic moves through us, through the world, through us, through this system of correlations into the desired goal. Bam. Another way of using the aces is through visualization, through just holding this idea, the idea of the pentacles, the idea of the materiality, the idea of the earth, the idea of grounding in your mind. And by, you know, imagining yourself in this card being handed this pentacle, right? Using this as a focus of meditation, as a focus of visualization. For example, say you get an astrology chart read and it turns out that you have no earth in your chart whatsoever. You know, it might be a good idea to start introducing some earth into your chart, right? So you can hold this card. You can hold this card in your mind. You can get a deck and just carry this card around in your pocket or in your shoe to remind you to stay grounded, stay connected to the earth. Perhaps you are trying to get a new job, right, or a new apartment. These are things that are connected with the realm of pentacles. These are 3D reality things. These are earth things. These are health and wealth things. Being able to just connect with this on a regular basis, whether it's like pinning it in your house someplace, carrying it in your pocket, putting it in your shoe. Perhaps, you know, you have a creative project that you're working on or want to get started on. Being able to keep this with you and visualize it, right? And visualize how you are enacting this. You know, again, also like maybe you have no fire in your chart. Maybe you've gone through an illness and you are feeling like out of energy. Being able to connect with this and imagine like kindling a fire, visualizing like this cloud hand bringing you sticks as you are kindling this internal fire, being able to keep this in a prominent position as you are enacting whatever pathway you are working on at that point in time. Also, they have correlations to the body, and which is another way to meditate with them or visualize them, or to just work with them on a very like visceral and physical level. And I actually really like this practice. I learned it from Yov Ben Dov, who is a tarologist. I got to see him lecture. I think he's since passed away, but he was a quantum physicist and tarologist who I got to see lecture several years ago, and it was fascinating. And one of his ideas was thinking about correlations between the aces and parts of the body. So he connected the pentacles with the feet, and the wands with the belly or the groin area, the cups with the heart, and the swords with the head or the third eye. And he recommended a practice of laying there with the cards on those centers, with the cards on those energetic centers in the body, and just meditating on them and connecting with what you felt, noticing that, calling that energy into those specific places. And by practicing that, we can kind of do a body scan and see if there's places where we're feeling blocked, where we need a little more energy, and taking the time to like really connect in with the elemental systems in our body and the ways that those are functioning, and having these kind of visual representations through the aces in a way that's very portable and very easy to use, and connecting with what's happening in the body, how the energy of the body is functioning, and how it can be used. Another thing to think about, just in terms of, I guess bringing this back to a reading, right, in the reading space, right, and one way that these can function again is by creating the energetic space around where you're reading, using these cards to hold down the corners and hold down the directions. When I saw Yov Ben Dov talk, he was like, I don't even read with these. These are not in my deck. When I'm reading, I use them in my reading space as like talismans and wards. I was like, what? However, one way these can also be used in a reading is when the reading is done and you're like, okay, what can we offer up as solutions or ways of working to create change through the information that's come up. And you can just pull one of these 4 cards and be like, okay, wands, light candles, right? Light a candle. You can also do this by noticing how many wands come up. If there's like abundance of wands in the reading, you're like, okay, element of fire, burn something, light a candle. If swords come up, right, like writing is a really good option. Also, if it's something that needs to be released, writing it and ripping it up and giving it to the wind. Also singing and offering things to the air. Another, right, spiritual baths, cleansing, washing, drinking tons of water, which I think is a very underrated magical practice. Drinking water, drinking tea, even setting intention into a thing that you're drinking. And if we were to pull this for you, right, altar work or burying something in the ground, charging an object, this stone right here, and charging it up with whatever that intention, whatever that thing that needs to be released, whatever that offering is, making it an offering, digging a hole, putting it in the earth, right? This is a great way also of practicing magic with these, and you can do this, like you can hold this card with you while you're making that offering, right? You can you can use this to charge up whatever object you are using. And this is another thing to remember that I want to impart on you. The more that these get used, right, the more that all of these get used, the more that this whole deck gets used, the more sort of intention, the more energy, the more magic that gets put into it. And if you are carrying these around with you all of the time, and if you are using these to create magical spaces, and to do magical interventions, then these are becoming imbued with that magical energy. Every time that you tune into the universe using these, they hold a little residue. And these carry that magical charge, and they become more and more powerful, to the point where, you know, maybe you've used them to call, to sort of like create a magical space, to create your magical zone for 5 minutes a day, for 365 days, right? Just 5 minutes, you know, laying these out in the cardinal directions, standing in the middle, and tuning into the universe. Easy, right? Doing that every day, and like, you know, just tuning in and creating that space, these pick up that magical residue, and these take on that sort of magical energy. I almost think about this as like the phone number to the universe, right? This is like a text code to the universe where you're like, okay, cool, I'm here, I'm tuning in, I'm listening.
Ring.
If we look at the magician, hey, all those elements are right there on the table, right? Like this is what we're doing, right? This is magic, you know? These elements don't need to be in 3D, they can be in, you know, in these representations, right? It's just about tuning into that. It's about standing there and, you know, calling that in and being like, these are the tools that I have to work with, you know, and this is the space that I'm creating, and now I'm channeling my magic through whichever one that I choose, you know. Also, like, first card of the tarot. Besides the Fool, right? Fool is a 0. That kind of goes anywhere. We can think about this as the first card, the Alpha, and we can think about the World as the Omega. And in the corners, right, we have correlations, right? We have the Bull, which is correlated to the coins or to Earth. We have the Lion, which is correlated to wands and fire. We have the Angel, or the Human, which is correlated to cups and emotion. And we have the Eagle, that is correlated to swords. They are also connected to Leo, Taurus, Aquarius, and Scorpio. We also see them in the Rider-Waite appearing around the Wheel of Fortune, right? Holding down the corners in the middle card, in the last card, and in the first card, right? This is a way of using these. This is a way of like creating that space, and literally creating a portal that the World Dancer is, you know, hanging out in, right? And through setting these in the corners of our intention, we are able to like create this portal where we connect with this divine vision of the self, or the world, or the universe, right? Also, like, as we are like moving through, like turning the wheel, which is a magical act, right? Choosing like, this is what I want to bring up, this is what I want to call into the world, this is what I want to release, by setting these corners, by creating this space, by being intentional. And that's really what it breaks down to, is this is a way of being intentional and being like, yo, universe, I am here and I mean business, and this is what I am trying to enact. So, with that, my friends, I think I will leave you. I hope that this was helpful and informative. If you want to find me, you can do so on Instagram. I am Blind Stallion Space Wizard, underscores in between the words. You can also find me on my website, www.campwizardcamp. I am available for tarot readings. I am available for astrology readings. Yeah, you can either DM me on Instagram or book through my website. Also, I have a Patreon where I have a lot of really cool content. I got a weekly Astro Radio Weather show. Astro Weather Radio show, thank you. And you can find me on Patreon at www.patreon.com/campwizardcamp. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, bunch of great content up there that's sort of like this, and all of it is available for less than the price of a sandwich, and some of it is available for less than the price of a cup of coffee. So I don't know, check me out there. I also got a astrology podcast called The Stallion and the Hare with a fantastic astrologer by the name of Amalia Scott. That comes out twice a month, so you can find that wherever you get your podcasts at. Anyway, that's all from me. Thank you. I hope that this was helpful. And yeah, take care of yourselves, and may the Force be with you. Bye.